What's up guys, Rich here with the new Spinnaker Dumas. And so the new Dumas remains largely unchanged to the original Dumas collection, and there it is in Hazard Yellow. Except for two new upgrades, the colorways and the bracelet. It remains in 44 millimeters. It's 16 millimeters tall, and it uses a 22 millimeter bracelet width. And we're going to spend some time talking about the bracelet because it is one of the upgrades, and there are a few things worth noting. The different colorways are, this is in Bordeaux, but it's also available in tangerine, cream, and blue. And while the dial colors are different, the bezel insert, which is really sort of a medium gray to charcoal gray, remains the same on all the colorways. The dial options are where the differences are. The Bordeaux is my favorite option of the different colorways, and it is the only one with a matching date window. I find this watch a very attractive, a very handsome watch. I like the way that the colors come together. I like the gray on the bezel insert and the cream on the markers on the bezel insert, and around the markers on the dial and on the handset. And then of course the Bordeaux. But it also has these light blue splashes of color on the outer portion of the markers, and I think it comes together really nicely. It's very tastefully done. Like I said, it's a very handsome watch, a very striking watch. So while the bezel insert looks like it could be either ceramic or sapphire because it just has that sheen to it, it's actually steel, but they coated it with a mineral crystal, and on a hardness scale, sapphire is 9, mineral is 5. The front of the crystal is sapphire, and I believe the back might be sapphire as well. But by adding that mineral crystal layering to the steel bezel insert, it gives it that really nice sheen, that almost ceramic look. It is tastefully done. I think they did a nice job creating that look. On the dial, it does have a 24-hour ring there as well. The markers and the handset and the markers on the bezel insert are all loomed with Super Luminova. The crown guards are there for a purpose. It's just not cosmetic because it is a screw down crown and it is water resistant to 300 meters. So as I said, that's the colorways, and we're going to spend some time talking about the bracelet. And before we do, I want to talk about the first part of the watch. It is a nicely finished case. It's mostly in a brushed finishing, including the bracelet. But around the case, we're going to see the angular hexagon shape where it has a polished trim right there. So I wouldn't mind having this polished trim extend down to the outer portion of the brushed bracelet, because to me that would give it sort of a manufactured as one feeling rather than creating a separate bracelet that would complement this case. Not a big deal, but just another level of refinement that I felt was a bit of a missed opportunity right there. So here we can get a good look at the polished finishing, but then it stops there before the bracelet continues with an all brushed case. It is a very attractive bracelet. It has a hexagon angles on there to complement the case. It's pretty well done. It does have 3 micro adjustments, and that's where we're going to spend some time on as well. It has one of the things that I don't think enough bracelets have, which is 2 levers on either side of the clasp, which just makes it a lot easier to open rather than pulling it apart. I just don't think enough bracelets offer that. So whenever they do, I'm really excited about that. It just makes it a lot easier, as I said. On the bracelet, there are no half links. There are only full links. And to put that into perspective, I have a 6.5-inch wrist, and I removed 5 links. And because I like to wear my bracelets pretty snugly. Snug. So where I thought I could make up for that is on the 3 micro adjustments, which looks like it probably would make up enough for at least a half a link right there. I have it in the middle because that's all I could actually go, even though it indicates there are 3 micro adjustments. And the reason is, as I open this up, while there looks like there is enough room right here to go over to the 3rd slot, it actually won't do that. So when I do put the pin over to the 3rd slot, this part of the inner clasp right here, it overlaps, and so the clasp won't close. Not a big deal, but again, to put that into perspective, I have a 6.5-inch wrist. If your wrist is smaller than 6.5 inches, and because there are no half links, not be able to get it to the tightest micro adjustment might be something for you to think about. But otherwise, it is a very comfortable bracelet, and it wears really, really well to me. It's nicely finished. Another area of the bracelet to point out is, you see there is a gap between the case and the bracelet right there, compared to the original one with the mesh bracelet. It doesn't have that because there is a bar there for the mesh bracelet. So we can compare the difference. And that's really neither here nor there. It's not a big deal, but it is just worth pointing out the gap between the new bracelet and the mesh bracelet. I think the mesh bracelet, if you want to get a tighter fit, is going to be a little bit more comfortable and easier to do that than any other bracelet. The good news is, if you already have the previous Dumas, you can interchange and use the mesh bracelet on this bracelet. I like the looks of both styles. I really like this angular bracelet on here, so I would still keep it on this for me. But that is an option. If you have the original Dumas, you can still use that bracelet. Overall, just a very, 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 very sharp design here. On the case back, there's their custom rotor. It uses a Seiko NH35 automatic movement, but it allows for hacking. So what that means is, if we want to set the time precisely to the second, it allows us to stop the seconds hand. We want to set the time. So that part of the NH35 is a better one than the original movement, because it does allow for hacking. And I know there's some people that actually like to prefer to set their time to the precise second. The retail price on the new Dumas is $400, and I think it is a very nice offering. It's just a very attractive watch. I also find it very wearable for 44 millimeters and for someone like me with smaller wrists, because each of the corners of the case right there, they angle inwards. And I think that takes up less real estate right there and right there on a wrist, which makes it much wearable for anyone with a smaller wrist. If we haven't purchased a Spinnaker lately, we might notice the packaging is a little bit different, and I do like that. I think it's cool. It has Spinnaker for a life beneath, beyond, and beside the sea. Now I can't get that Beyond the Sea song out of my head, but it's a cool packaging. It's really nice. And if we are a fan of the original Dumas colorways, I think we're gonna like the new colorways offerings on the new Spinnaker. I think these have sort of more of a fall feeling to it. This is in hazard yellow, and I believe the other one was in black. I can't remember the other colors from the original colorways, but to me, yellow screams summer, and it is a very pleasant color, and I've enjoyed it quite nicely. But I think the new colors represent more of a fall color, four colors with the seasons, and I really like the new colorways a lot. So again, if we like the original Dumas, I think we're going to really like the colorways and the bracelet design of the new Dumas. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you the next time.